So I just read that the British Boxing Board of Control has now downgraded Ian John Lewis. Now, who is Ian John Lewis? Ian John Lewis was one of the judges that judged during the Josh Taylor versus Jack Catterall fight. And so there was an internal review of Ian John Lewis's scorecard and his judging, and the British Boxing Board of Control felt that even though it wouldn't have changed the outcome of the fight or the result of the fight, but the fact that the his score was so wide, so just way off the mark, they just felt that he had to be downgraded. So his scorecard had Josh Taylor winning 114 to 111. And his justification for the reason why he felt that Josh Taylor should get 114 to 111, it just didn't work for the board. So anyway, what they came up with, they said that, look, you're going to be brought down from an A-star class official to an A-class official. Now, I don't really know how that really works. I haven't done a lot of deep dive into that. So the difference between an A-star class compared to A class. But I take it that an A-star class would be some of the, the top fights within the British Commonwealth. That's what I'm thinking. So anyway, the British Boxing Board of Control, they also stated that officials will now be evaluated after each bout. Well, that's a part of their standard procedures as of right now, but they will also be subject to a separate individual annual review. So every single year, A-star class officials, this only goes for A-star class officials so far, A-star class officials will have to go through a separate individual annual review. So that's a good change, I think that would be good. I don't know how they're going to really rein it in, but they feel that this will allow for them to uphold their quality standard as a board of control. Lastly, the British Boxing Board of Control have contacted, get this is breaking, the WBO, the WBC, the WBA, and the IBF to make Jack Catterall, the mandatory challenger for all four sanctioning bodies. So all four, WBO, WBC, WBA, and IBF, the British Boxing Board of Control is supporting Jack Catterall and saying that he needs to be the mandatory challenger for all four sanctioning bodies at this present time. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if any of the bodies actually take that into consideration and actually make him the mandatory challenger. But yeah, that's pretty big news, especially the fact that if Josh Taylor does vacate, I mean, all those belts will be out and Jack Catterall will be able to potentially scoop them all up. So pretty interesting stuff. So we'll see how that goes. So that's all I got. Pretty interesting thing. Just the big news is Ian John Lewis. I mean, dude, that's what happens. And you know how the British fans were not happy about that at all. Everyone thought that Jack Catterall won. I did too. I felt that Jack Catterall won. But I didn't feel it was a great injustice like they're saying. But I did feel I had Jack Catterall. I had him win. Matter of fact, I actually had him win comfortably. But I mean, it is what it is. I did say that there's some of the rounds that could have been a little iffy. So I wasn't, too disappointed, but I did feel that Jack Catterall won, and I still feel that Jack Catterall won. I saw the fight again, and I felt that Jack Catterall won clearly. And just by the principle of the fact that he had a knockdown, and both fighters were docked points. Okay, in a round and a round. So there's a round over here where Catterall lost a point, and there's a round over here that Josh Taylor lost a point. So, but Catterall had a knockdown. You know, he scored a knockdown on Josh Taylor. So I felt that even if it was tied, Catterall had to win the fight. Even if you have it as a draw, Catterall should have won the fight. So I thought it was pretty clear cut. No debating. But whatever. On to the next thing. So, hey, but this is good news for judges. Hopefully they'll start to be a little bit more awake. I know it's hard to stay awake that late. But you know what I mean? I mean, it's late. It's late on some of these fights, man. You can't be, man, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Some of these guys are 50, 60 years old judging. You see what I'm saying? Like, me personally, I was up on some of these fights. I mean, it's like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. How am I supposed to be up 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock? You know what I'm saying? Making decisions. I can't even make a decision to stay up or not. And I'm excited about the fight. Dude, I'm out on some of these fights. These guys got to be locked in and stuff. I get it. They get paid to do a job. I understand. Relax. But look, cut them some slack. Unless they're talking about Boots Ennis. If they're talking about Boots Ennis, Terrence Crawford, or Errol Spence Jr., then you better be wide awake. So with that being said, as always, peace, one love. We out of here.